Have you ever wondered what death smells like? We rarely talk about death through smell, but when someone truly leaves, their voice starts to blur. Gradually, their face needs a photograph to remember. Many shared moments become scattered fragments, but smell can bring someone who has gone far away close again through a very brave and sudden moment. It might be a dish they used to cook, or a piece of clothing left in the closet. Maybe what we're really waiting for is not someone rising from the dead and coming back from another world. Maybe we're waiting for our senses to come alive again. We're waiting for relationships that language could not preserve to enter life one more time. And today, let's talk about De Los Santos from Byredo, released in 2022. And this fragrance is about mourning as something we do with actions, materials, and smell. It was inspired by Mexico's Day of the Dead and the Catholic All Saints' Day. Byredo calls it a ritual of remembrance. It honors those who came before us. It also accepts that life is brave. Let me give it a try. The opening is clary sage. It's cool, green, and dry, with a fresh herbal edge. It feels like someone has opened a window and let light and air into a room that has been closed for a very long time. It clears out a space. Mirabelle plum sweetness. And this sweetness is also very brave. It's also very bright. It doesn't become a rich, juicy fruit note. It feels more like the moment when a ripe fruit is lit by the sun. De Los Santos doesn't paint death black. It keeps the warmth of plants, fruit, light, and the skin. What it really cares about is how can someone who has already left come close to us again through smell in a very brave way. In the tradition of the Mexican Day of the Dead, death doesn't mean the dead are sealed forever in another world. Every year from late October to early November, loved ones who have died are believed to return for a short time. Families lay down flower petals, they light candles, they place photo, food, and the dead person's favorite things on an altar, so the dead can find the way home. This kind of remembrance is very detailed. You prepare a meal, you arrange a space, you let the room have that person's familiar smell again. So the living are not just silently repeating a name in their heads. They use work, care, and the body to arrange a return for someone who is absent. A ritual is not there to prove whether another world exists. It turns loss into something the body can do. You may no longer be able to touch someone, but you can still cook. You can still arrange and wait for them. And from here, we can ask another question. Why do death rituals around the world keep returning to flowers, spices, and smoke? Death originally has a smell that people don't want to approach. The body begins to decay. The familiar face and outline slowly fall apart. A person who once spoke and breathed is becoming a dead body. Julia Kristeva saw the corpse as the most extreme form of the object because it shows us the collapse of the body's borders. It also forces us to realize that one day we will go through the same change. Maybe that is why humans keep bringing fragrance close to death. Susan Ashbrook Harvey, a historian of early Christian olfactory culture, discussed this in her book, Scenting Salvation, Ancient Christianity and the Olfactory Imagination. For her, scent was not just the decoration around the religious rituals. Fragrance helped shape how people understood holiness, the body, and salvation. In some early Christian stories, the body of a scent escapes the ordinary smell of decay. Instead, it gives off the scent of flowers, spice, or burning incense. Decay points to the breaking down of the flesh. Fragrance gives death another meaning. The body has ended, but the life and spirit that person stood for continue. De Los Santos inherits this Christian-oriented language of smell. It moves around the real smell of decay. It rewrites death with sage, fruit, iris, raisin, palo santo, and musk. What we smell is a fragrance gave to a body after it has left, through ritual, through memory. So the death shown by this perfume has already been arranged. It has also been purified. It doesn't recreate the material fact of death. Instead, it repeats what mourning cultures have always done. They turn what is hard to look at and hard to approach into something the living can touch and live with. Now, back to De Los Santos. After the sage and plum fade, iris and cistus slowly appear. The iris here is not delicate, glamorous, or pottery in a make-up way. It feels closer to dry soil, old paper, or the very thin dust on the surface of a photograph. You can still see the person in the photo, but the edges have softened. Some details have started to blur. Cistus brings a warm, slightly dark raisin note. It has a bit of stickiness. It also has the worms left after something has burned. The grain clarity and the bright fruit from the opening slowly sink down. The room becomes quiet. The Palo Santo here doesn't become a heavy religious incense. It feels more like the coolness, light smoke, and herbal dryness coming from a piece of dry wood. The smoke has thinned, but it has not fully left. Smoke has a shape that feels very close to the dead. You can see it, but you can't hold it. It can fill the room, but it doesn't have a stable body. It comes from the burning of a real material, and the moment it appears, it's already moving toward disappearance. Maybe so many different cultures, they light something during mourning because smoke can give absence a temporary shape. Perfume exists in a similar way. We can smell perfume because it's evaporating. The process of scent reaching us is also the process of scent leaving us. It can't stay fixed in one place. It can only remain for a limited time between skin and air. That's why perfume is so fitting for talking about death. Through its own disappearance, it let us feel time. What remains at the end is ambroxan and musk. The scent sinks from the outside world down onto our skin. The altar, flowers, raisin, and smoke slowly move away. What is left is a warm, clean body trace. And this change matters. A public ritual of remembrance becomes one person's private feeling. We may complete the ritual together in a crowd, but what we truly need to bring back into life is still our own way of living with the person we lost. Of course, smell can't preserve the whole past. It can't seal a person's face, voice, and story completely inside a bottle, but it can open small parts of the past. What De Los Santos preserve is not one specific dead person. It trains us to feel the air left by absence, someone who once here, after they left, the room still kept a little warmth. Maybe this is why rituals have to be repeated. Memory changes, smell disappears. The altar has to be arranged again. We can't finish mourning once for all. We can only return to the same name again and again at different stages of life. Each time we'll return with new understanding. Scent will eventually disperse, but before it disappears, those who have already left seem to share the same air with us for a moment. And that's my reflection on De Los Santos. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.